After being hit with a scandal yesterday, Nancy Pelosi seems to not hear what's going on. After being told to no longer avow herself of the HEROES Act and move to a nonpartisan new bill, next Monday she's expected to introduce a partisan bill at a price tag too high that may not have hazard pay in it, won't give you multiple stimulus checks, and does nothing to get you to the finish line. And why should you allow this to happen? This is Afternoons LALATE. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Afternoons LALATE, the most comprehensive reporting that you'll ever see on second stimulus check in the middle of the afternoon. And this is LALATE now celebrating our fifth 5-month anniversary today. Thank you for joining us. Second stimulus coverage on Afternoons LA starts at 3:30 with a check, then goes to hazard pay this video. 30 minutes from now will be FPUC and enhanced unemployment benefits. Big developments on that, especially in California today. Finally, rent, new developments, and economic news, especially twists in the stock market you need to tune in for. It's big news today as we sit back and wonder about what's going on with second stimulus. After you may have seen the video right before this one's going to go more into detail about a couple factors. One, why October 1st is so critical. Two, what could happen after October 1st. Three, what's really going on Monday, this coming Monday. And four, is there future with hazard pay in the next couple days? Let me get to the incredible details. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. 270,000 followers for a reason. 5 months, no one has ever done that in the history of YouTube. We're here to help one another, getting people anywhere between $5 to $25 million in EIDL loans, EIDL grants, PPP, and PUA money, and we're still not done, nor will we ever. Go to the Funniest channel, subscribe, and then also like this video. When you go to some Funniest channel, subscribe, also hit the alarm button so you get an alert when a new video goes live. We've had a lot of people sort of jump in as soon as the videos go live with incredible surges, 5,000 people in the first 2-3 minutes watching videos. That's absolutely incredible. Also like this video because this will be the most comprehensive video on hazard pay you're going to see this afternoon, additionally with stimulus. All right, let me get to the credible details that we are at today. The second stimulus package really does have an inherent deadline finally. That deadline is October 1st. The only question is whether congressional leaders will ignore the deadline and simply go home on a vacation. What we're dealing with is their vacation versus the collapse of an entire industry and the homelessness of the American people. Which one to decide upon? It seems sort of obvious. Even the cows are sitting back, sipping their milkshakes, thinking, this one's sort of simple, Alex. I'll take it for $200. Here we go. October 1st will be the date in which airlines will essentially start to implode. The airline industry cannot implode. They employ frontline workers who are defined as essential workers under the hazard pay bill. And you would think that the people who have hazard pay in their best interest would be safeguarding and paying attention to an October 1st deadline. What would happen on October 1st is the airlines would shut down routes across the country. They're currently flying at all major routes. They would lay off millions of people, and many of them could go bankrupt. Now, why is this important for you for purposes of stimulus? Because they're in a stimulus package with you, and their deadline is helping you get to the finish line. It's a little bit opportunistic, but it works, and we're doing it. We have never had any industry, sadly, that had a deadline that pushed us to the finish line until now. And that has actually been detailed in analysts' financial reports this week, which I read on camera. They said the problem with the second stimulus package has been that congressional leaders who are lazy, who are making a nice buck on our tax dollars, who like to take a lot of vacations. They just came into session this week, by the way. Guess when their session ends? Next week. They work about 7 days and then they're done. What type of job is this? Well, they have never seen it as an element of urgency. We thought it was urgent. I mean, it seemed so obvious it was urgent, but it wasn't. It seemed urgent when FPUC was going to expire in late July. They didn't take care of it. It seemed urgent when you worked as a frontline worker during hazard pay, as a driver, as a grocery store worker, as a liquor store worker, nurse, doctor, shipper, warehouse worker, maintenance, Uber, Lyft driver, taxi driver, maritime worker, boat person, fixing the boats, working the airlines, clean the stores, security guard, police, civil servants. You worked as essential workers during this pandemic. Why have you not been compensated for that? You're entitled to. Is there some dispute that you're not entitled to money? And it's ironic because Republicans, who always talked about, well, we want to reward people from getting back to work or working during the pandemic, have never once written a bill giving you hazard pay. Remember the Portman plan, which I talked about a lot in July, where he said, I want to give people 3 payments. What was it? I can't remember the number. Was it like 3 payments of $300 or 6 payments of $200? It was something like that, to go back to work while you're back at work, because going back to work, you may not have enough hours, so I want to supplement your income. Okay. Did you get that? No. Did you get anything from the Republicans introduced as law, as a bill to give you hazard pay? No. So as we sit here today, where's our focus? Our focus is the Problem Solvers bill. Does it have hazard pay in it? No, it doesn't. The reason why is because the Temple Doom wouldn't meet with them. It's literally like that. The Problem Solvers bill is absolutely categorically the best thing you've ever seen. And we're going to be tweeting it up. I'll be sending out images when this video goes live of 2 calendars, September and October, that talks about this deadline. And the bill has to be revised. The Problem Solvers admit the bill has to be revised, or the proposal. But the bottom line is it doesn't have hazard pay. It needs to have hazard pay in it. And which hazard pay should it have in it? The Romney plan. So when a bill is introduced next week from the Temple of Doom for a lot of fanfare that we're going to summarily reject because it's too much money, it's never going to pass, it's just a lot of smoke and mirrors, a big old pony show, will there be hazard pay in there? Your guess is as good as mine. Will it be written as badly as it was written last time by the Temple of Doom? Oh, absolutely. If you don't know, the hazard pay provisions of the second stimulus package from the HEROES Act, which has now been rejected by congressional leaders, made hazard pay voluntary. You may voluntarily go get your employee some money, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. What? Your employee's entitled to $10,000, but if you don't feel like getting him $10,000, you don't have to. You had a wonderful woman who worked for you throughout the pandemic, worked late night, ensured you stayed open, ensured she got the food out to people. And we have a bill that you can give her, that she can get $10,000 for her work. But, if you don't feel like doing it and not getting for it, you don't have to. Who writes a bill like that? People who buy $12 ice cream soup writes a stupid bill like that. It's insane. It's just categorically insane. So as we sit here today, the pressure points remain the same. Pressure on the supporting the Problem Solvers, supporting the Blue Dogs, supporting the new Democrat coalition. Be on Twitter and tweet them and say, I support you. Put in hazard pay. Here's the image. Let's get this done. Let's get it to a vote. Pressure on the president. Why has he not done this by executive order? Mnuchin, Meadows, pressure there. And pressure on the congressional leaders who are not doing anything. Cease for stimulus. You don't give a stimulus, you're gone. What's important to understand as we go into next week is this deadline. The deadline is to get a check in our hand. Well, the deadline is to get a law that gets a check in our hand. You're not going to get a check in your hand on October 1st, but you're supposed to be getting a law in your hand because there's a deadline. Will congressional leaders just ignore the deadline and go on their way? Let's hope not. We're not going to allow them. If they do, we're going to vote them out. Because of this deadline, there is a key issue at stake. What happens after the deadline? Congress is on recess till November. On recess for an entire month? They've only been here for a week and then they're going to be gone for an entire month? Are you crazy? They let everything expire in July. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. Then they come back for a postman for 1 week. Then they leave. They go have some $12 ice cream. Then they come back. They work for 1 week. They don't let problem solvers come to their office and talk about hazard pay. They don't let Mnuchin. They don't talk to Mnuchin. They don't speak to Meadows and don't even remember his name. And they're going home and to try to disappear for another month? Who are these people? They're your elected officials, at least for now. Here's some good news. Trump announced that you could get some new medical cards. That Medicare beneficiaries might get $200 to help with drug costs. Okay. What is this? On a speech Thursday, running for president, re-election, he talked about some sort of payment card to 33 million Medicare beneficiaries, which costs $6.6 billion, that would give them some benefits, the majority of which are 65 years of old. Juliet Kubaniski, deputy director of the Kaiser Foundation, says the total number of those enrolled who don't get low income subsidies might benefit. What is this? If you're asking for me how to apply or where to get it, I don't know. I'm just trying to inform you about something that seems very exciting. Nobody's seen this before, said Trump. These cards are incredible. The cards will be mailed out in the next couple of weeks. I will take care of our wonderful senior citizens. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what it is. But of those, 12 million have low income to get assistance from the Medicare program to help pay for their prescription drugs. The remaining 33 million will get no extra help, says Kubanin. So it appears as though it's low income people who are on Medicare, and they will get a $300 medical card to buy medicine with. Really exciting. I'm not sure what it is or how it's going to come or where it's coming. So if you ask me, I don't see it. Where is it? What is it called? What does it look like? Is it coming in the mail? Is a cow delivering it? What color is it? Is it lobster color? I just don't know. I'm just very excited for you. Let me get to some of your 799 comments from yesterday. Tim Holligan. If the Democrats, the Republicans, and the president can't get the stimulus bill, they need to be voted out. Amen. James, they're afraid to go back to their home states with nothing. The public will run them out of town on a rail. I love that. It's absolutely categorically true. Donna Shalala out of South Florida said, we can't go home without a stimulus package in our hands. Donna, it means a stimulus bill approved by law, not just something Nancy is writing up over the weekend and introduced on Monday that's going to be summarily rejected. So you need to, with that pressure for seats of stimulus, it has to be made clear. You give us something that's passed. I don't want to hear something crappy at 2.4, 2.2. What I want to make very, very clear is that when the Temple of Doom introduces that bill on Monday at 2.4, 2.2, it's not going to go anywhere anyhow. So what we need to do is be ahead of the story. In the old publicity game, it's called being ahead of the story. You need to be in front of the story before the story breaks. The story is going to be the package. How wonderful it is. How it's so wonderful. How the Republicans are this and the Republicans are that. You need to be ahead of the story and say, no. She's about to introduce this thing that no one's going to want. It's partisan. It's too much money. She's been told by her own party, don't go that high. She could be doing this in 1.5. She could be doing the problem solvers bill. She's up in La La Land. She's just writing something for the purpose of writing it that's never going to become a law. Don't support it, and that's why we have a problem. Let's get on. Cindy, it's a shame that the president has to even consider an executive order. Gene, why don't the economic geniuses see that getting the stimulus money in the hands of the people stimulates the economy? I don't know. That's a great question. I talk about that every day. Kathy Roth, clean house, we all need them gone. Karen, I sent the president a message today on a Twitter account after I heard you, Ella. Good. Krista Wacker, red or blue, doesn't matter. No stimulus, no seats. Amen. You're out. Veronica, Lord Nancy is now saying they're coming out for our children. Whoa, crazy Nancy. Samuel, howdy again. I wish lollygang and people in Congress could stand in my town and watch the people line up for the food banks. Gerald Samuel, if Nancy would put forth the energy she puts forth in the 150-page Trump impeachment document, our stimulus would have been done already. Mic drop. I mean, really well said, Geraldine Samuel. Nancy Pelosi introduced a 150-page impeachment document this week. How about you do a 150-page standalone bill for multiple stimulus checks? That's not your money. It's not. When you send out multiple stimulus checks to us, it's not taking from your $12 ice cream, honey. So why don't you spend the 150 pages of congressional paper on our multiple stimulus checks? Wouldn't that sound really good? How about, enhanced unemployment benefits and hazard pay? Richard Carnes, she's going to introduce a bill that she knows even before she does it, it will get rejected. There we go. Viewers are getting sophisticated. Viewers are getting knowledgeable. I love this. No more of pulling wool over the eyes of the American electorate. We are now informed because of this channel. We know what's going on. We're not going to be hoodwinked, and we're not going to say, I'm so excited for Nancy on Monday. No, we're not going to be excited for Nancy at $2.4 trillion that we know is not going to get approved, because we know the positions of the other people. And even if the positions of the other people were wrong, we know that 2.4 is too much. It's not 2.4 trillion of stimulus checks. It's, 0.1 of stimulus checks, and 2.3 is other stuff that doesn't really care for us. I'm being, general in that statement. Tara, I want to just say I'm normally not a pushy person, typically wouldn't tweet my officials, but you and the Purple Power family has encouraged me to advocate for what we desperately need. I believe we're going to get this done. Amen. I'm not a political person either, and you may think otherwise, but I generally don't even talk about politics. But when something so obvious as this is where people need things, get the things out. I just don't understand what's going on here. It's not their money. Gay vet Bruce, Nancy Pelosi wants to stall this effort by starting a new bill. She should continue to sit down. Janice Brown, we need our stimulus checks now. Deanie Lumsey, bye-bye heroes. We're the richest country by our countries, and we're getting stimulus by a regular basis. Timothy, they should take Congress's pay and give it to the stimulus. Rita, it's nice to know the Americans come after the airlines. I'll remember that at the polls. I love that. Linda Hutchinson, they should kick everyone out because they wait too long. Anita, we've heard this before. Jesus, take the wheel. We haven't had people that don't give our hearts. Heart is such an important thing. I mean, when we talk about the Purple Power and we see the tweets, we see the DMs, we see the posts on the channel, on this channel, there's always a heart, a purple heart. And there's a reason why there's a heart. It's not has anything to do with men or woman. It has nothing to do with anything of other than that. We have heart. We have a heart and we have a soul, and we care to help one another. We understand that this pandemic was not our fault. We understand that we did not intend this to happen to ourselves. It just happened. It's not our fault that we're in this financial bind. And somehow, we were put through the ringer by both sides to think that somehow we're to blame for this. We're not. And we should be given money to ensure that we are, we have some normality in our life, that we're slightly or potentially back to where we were before this pandemic started. The truth of the matter is that when we talk about hazard pay at $10,000, it's a lot of money. Or we talk about hazard pay at $5,000, it's a lot of money. But if we're talking about, $400 a week that of enhanced unemployment benefits that Mnuchin was offering Pelosi and she rejected, you would have had $4,000 in your pocket by now. $400 a week, 10 weeks, $4,000. You would have had $4,000. How about a $1,200 stimulus check? What if you had this $1,200 stimulus check back in late July, before they went on recess then? Imagine how different it would have been today. Just imagine. It's because of their inability to prioritize things in their lives, to focus on lobster bills, pot bills. AOC literally has the audacity, AOC, that elected official out of New York, has the audacity to say, stay at $3.4 trillion while we focus on a pot bill, because everyone really wants pot. Sounds like a pothead talking. Who says something like that? We need stimulus. And for that reason, be part of this family. Go to the Funds channel, subscribe. This is the fastest growing community on YouTube for a reason. We really do care, and we really try to help one another. Also, like this video, because this is an incredible community, an incredible video, and I try to keep you informed by the minute about what's going on with hazard pay. Hazard pay needs to be in the Problem Solvers bill. You need to be on social media. You need to be tagging the people. Remember the 3 pressure points. Problem solvers get in favor of them. President push for the executive order, and seats for stimulus push back against them. Coming up next is FPUC. That's going to be a big one. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay focused, and stay LA for more.